my right, we'll be discussing a few basketball topics. We'll start with Philadelphia and the trade that just went down the other day for Jimmy Butler.
We're going to start out with some definitions.
Okay,
No, we'll get to the definitions, but...
We'll do the definitions after this, because this was a hot topic in the car.
Shut up. All right.
So, no, Owen, this is your subject to introduce.
Okay.
Yeah, so why don't you introduce what happened?
76ers, they're my favorite team. I really liked them last year. I felt like they had a good run in the playoffs because Joel was injured towards the end of the year. I think they did well. I was looking forward to the season. We started off rough. Yeah, we started off real rough. And so we moved two of our big young pieces, or not really young anymore, but Robert Covington and Dario Saric to the Minnesota Timberwolves for Jimmy Butler and some no-name center.
No, wasn't it just Jimmy?
No, there was like a no-name center in there because we dumped Jared Bayless's contract too. And so he's on the last year of his deal, and he's coming into Philly to fill in the small forward spot for Rocco, and that leaves the power forward position open. So
how long was his contract for? A year, right?
Yeah, there's only a year left.
There's only a year left, so yeah.
And wasn't there like a couple of years left on Saric? And
It was 3 for both of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like a
very
big
controversial trade.
Plus, Jimmy Butler just got off a deal where he complained about a team not playing basketball seriously, where now he's going to have to deal with not only Joel Embiid tweeting nonsense nonstop about whatever he talks about, he's also going to have to deal with Markelle Fultz shooting air balls all around the gym because he can't shoot anymore.
Facts.
And he's going to have to deal with a point guard, small forward, that can't shoot 3 feet out of the paint.
Okay, so those are valid arguments you're making, but this is why I think it's gonna work. And there's a good possibility it might be the same situation as Minnesota where they're fighting and whatnot. But I think the first issue is the shooting, obviously, with our team because we have our best players are
your best shooters are center,
But I think last season we had the same problem throughout the regular season until the buyout season came during the trade deadline. We bought Marco Bellinelli and Ersan Ilyasova were bought out by their teams. I don't know who they played for. And then we signed them, and they were valuable to us in the playoffs. I think they both had really solid playoff runs, and I think they were a reason we made it because we had a really bad playoffs.
Yeah.
We made it to the second round.
But my big thing with the Sixers trading away 2 of their valuable bench pieces.
But they were
Wait, wasn't Saric a starter?
They both were.
Covington started over Redick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had
All
Redick
right.
coming off the bench. I don't understand why they did that. But
also, those 2 being traded means that when, not if, when one of their starters get hurt,
Yeah.
they're not going to have a fill-in.
Yeah, that's facts.
I think, no, I honestly,
they have nobody on the bench.
I know. That's why I'm saying buyout season comes, and then I think that Embiid and Ben Simmons are going to try to work with Jimmy because they're going to see what happened with the whole Karl-Anthony Towns and Wiggins situation. I think they're going to want to try and listen to what he has to say, but I'm not sure. I guess you guys do have a good point about them being young and Simmons can't shoot, and that might be an issue, but I feel like Fultz's jump shot's going to come around if he just keeps playing. I'm going to have faith that it does, but
I don't think he's going to recover completely.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but the other big thing for us, though, now is that we have 2 closers. Because this season, Joel Embiid's done a good job of closing out games in OT and stuff. And although last time we lost the Grizzlies, he's done a good job pretty much most of the year. And now Jimmy comes in, and Jimmy's known for hitting clutch shots in late game situations. So I think we could do all right with this team we have. I guess we just got to see.
Yeah, but you have no depth.
Yeah, but that's why.
What's the record right now?
The record is
It's like 8-5.
All right. So in the Eastern Conference, it's Toronto's the first seed, 12-1. Milwaukee's second seed.
Yeah, no, Toronto's the
9-3.
best in the whole league.
12-1,
yeah.
Philadelphia is the 5th seed. They're 8-6 right now. And let's see. We're on
6. Yeah, so they did lose.
Who did they
night.
play tonight? Who did they play?
They just played last night. So
But so did the Lakers.
Yeah, they might play tonight. They're not playing. The Lakers are playing the Hawks tonight. Celtics.
Yeah,
Blazers.
they start at 9:30.
You see the Bucks lose last night?
Yeah, we should watch the Nuggets-Bucks game. That's going to be a good game.
Yeah.
No, we're watching the Lakers game.
I know, but that's on at 9:30.
So is the Lakers game.
Yeah.
No. The Lakers game's on 9:30. I'm saying this one's at 8. Whatever. Okay, so I guess really the end of that argument really is we're gonna have to wait and see to really see.
Yeah,
who
no,
won.
we're gonna have to see who gets injured and so what they have to do to replace that person.
I'm really excited to see what happens to Robert Covington and Sarge on the Timberwolves because now that team, their big issue was shooting. They didn't really have any shooters. They had Jeff Teague at point guard. He's not really good at shooting. Their best shooter really was their big man as well.
Yeah.
So
similar problems.
Now they got two good.
But the Timberwolves had like a solid bench too.
Yeah, no,
they had. Wait, who's their starting point guard?
It's Jeff Teague and Derrick Rose. And Derrick Rose this year is shooting really well.
D-Rose is like
47% from behind the arc, I think, at this point.
So
really?
they had like 4 other like decent bench pieces that like they could fill in with their starters.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see. I think
we're definitely gonna have to wait and see what happens to the Sixers.
The only thing I'm concerned about is if Jimmy resigns or not, because we just gave up a lot to take a big risk on the resign. So I think to make sure he comes back, I think we're gonna have to.
I personally don't think he's resigning.
I think if we could make a deep playoff push and somehow if we make it to the Eastern Conference Finals somehow and get past the Celtics or the Raptors, I think that he'll resign.
My personal opinion is the only way you guys are going to get past the first and second round is if you have like either the 3rd seed or the 4th seed, so you don't play you really want to avoid the Celtics and Toronto.
Yeah.
But I think we'll turn it around
because Kyle Lowry is cooking.
He is this year, but he's known to go quiet in the playoffs. So
yeah, the Raptors are just as a whole though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but now LeBron's out. We'll see.
Yeah, LeBron's out of the East, so that's going to make a lot of changes.
Mm-hmm. Plus, the Raptors are looking real good but Kawhi is good as really good in the playoffs.
Yeah, Kawhi
is. So what are these definitions we gotta define?
No, okay. So I wanted to define. So we're saying who's better. So I wanted to say how are we defining a better player?
Okay.
Like what boxes do you have to check to be a better player than someone else?
Okay. So this is leading into our next segment about LeBron James.
Wait, here, let me just give it a today. The whole reason for this episode is we're going to argue Michael Jordan versus LeBron James, who is a better player. So I told Owen, let's start by defining a term. Who actually what does it actually mean to be a better player? So what do you think, Owen?
Well, when I think of a basketball player and like a successful basketball player, I'm first and foremost going to take into effect winning. And I know that's stereotypical, but I mean I think it's important because that's the whole reason you're playing is to win.
Yeah.
The next thing is efficiency and how good of a teammate he was, and his like on and off court, like if he was kept his head and didn't run into too much problems. And probably lastly, I would also want to make sure he's not going to get injured, and his scoring numbers are good. I want him to be good. So and then factors that can play into changing the way I see things is also who he plays with.
Yeah.
So if you have like the best player of all time on a team of nobodies and he averages, that's gonna weigh in how we judge him. But so that's really what I go off.
All right. So my definition, I'd say it's pretty similar to yours. I would say like your stats, obviously, like how much you're scoring and how efficiently you're scoring is probably most important to me instead of winning. Because, you could be the best player on the worst team and still lose.
That's fair. It's just like MVP.
So, but then maybe second or third would be accomplishments like MVPs, Defensive Player of the Year, championships. And then also like efficiency, like you said, on a team. Do you make your teammates better? Can you carry a shitty team? Can you hold your own on a great team? Mm-hmm. So that's my definition.
I'm going to throw one more thing on there is defense. Yeah. Defense is very important.
Yeah?
Wait. So, no, my biggest thing for greatest of all time is not like... Well, it's like a combination of winning, scoring, and just how well-rounded of a player you are.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because you can have a player like Steph Curry who can put up 50 a night.
Yeah.
But... pretty much every point guard in the league can put up 30 on him.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Or you can have a player like Kawhi where nobody's putting up 30 on him.
And he's putting up 30.
And he'll put up 30 on you.
Yeah. But then there's players who take that to like the defense as their like that's what they're prided on. Like Tony Allen or what's his name?
But you're not gonna argue Tony Allen is the best.
Yeah.
I know. But I'm saying I could argue.
I was just thinking about
Andrew Iguodala, Draymond Green.
Well, no, Andre Iguodala is like he's just like your like base of a team. He's like your typical sixth man.
Yeah, but I'm just saying like some of the great defenders in the current league at least.
Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, he's good.
So Owen, I'll allow you. You make the first opening statement. So Owen, I'm letting you go first. You were doing the point of MJ is better, so set the stage. Wait. Actually, sorry. Let's back up. I just want to say, like, basics, just like size, years played, stuff like that to start. So we can start with MJ. So he's 6'6", 195 pounds, right-handed, and he's a shooting guard, but he has played small forward before. He has 15 seasons with technically 3 quote-unquote retirements. 2 in between before he finally retired. He has 6 championships, 6 out of 6 is probably what he's like his most famous thing. He was 3rd pick in the first round by the Bulls and stayed loyal to the Bulls the whole time. Anything else you want to add?
Wasn't he 2nd overall?
He's 3rd.
Yeah,
he was 3rd.
No,
he was 3rd. It was Hakeem, then it was Sam Bowie, then it was MJ.
Yeah.
He was 3rd.
I forgot Hakeem was in there.
Anything else you want to add? Oh, he had one injury. It was a
knee,
broken
right?
left foot.
Or foot.
And then a less serious one was a torn ACL. And that was during the 85-86 season. He actually missed 64 games because of it, so it was pretty severe. So now let's go to LeBron. LeBron, he was drafted in 2003, first round. He was the first pick in the first round. He's 6'8", 250, right-handed. He's most commonly a small forward, but he has played anything from shooting guard to power forward. He's at currently 16 seasons and still has more seasons to go, hopefully. He has never been injured. He has 3 championships, but he's been to the finals 8 times.
No, he hasn't. He's been there more than 8.
No, it's 8.
It's 8. He's been to the finals 8 times.
He's got 5 losses.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add on?
I think you covered everything well there. So.
All right. So yeah, opening statements about MJ being better.
Okay, so I'm going to start off with the most generic argument that Michael Jordan, many consider him the greatest of all time because of what he did in the playoffs. Like you said, he was 6 for 6 with 6 finals MVPs. And to be fair, he did play on a very good team, especially when the 96 team, I think, when they had Rodman from the Pistons. But Pippen, Steve Kerr, Robert Horry, I think, played for them. Did he? No, actually, I fact-checked that. I don't know if he did.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Tony Kukoc, a bunch of big players who definitely helped him. Like Steve Kerr, if he didn't hit that shot, we would probably be talking about 5 for 6. But
yeah, possibly.
I mean, he was and he played, but the teams he played though weren't any like cakewalks. He played a Jazz team that had.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that one.
Let's hear it.
Well, I mean, you can continue and I'll rebuttal after.
Yeah. Well, the Jazz team you played with John Stockton, Karl Malone. Who else was on that team?
That was just their big 2.
That was the big 2. He played against.
They had a lot of like good bench players.
Yeah.
And shit.
Trailblazers with Clyde Drexler. I think did he play the Rockets one? No.
Yeah, with Hakeem.
Yeah, they beat Hakeem, who many consider one of the.
He didn't play Hakeem.
Did he not?
Yeah,
no, he didn't.
He was like
he was retired during that. No, he was retired.
No, yeah, he was. That's when Hakeem won.
People say he dodged. I don't believe that, but people say he retired to dodge Hakeem.
That's when.
But no, but he still like had to deal with Hakeem.
Yeah, no, but he never played them in the finals. Is what I'm saying. He never played them in the finals.
And to even add to this, he took, like you said, he retired twice, and it was in the prime of his career. There's many theories on why he did it. Yeah. He claims it was to play baseball, which I don't believe because he sucked at baseball. He didn't even play a pro game.
Wait, what was his claim when he retired the second time?
The second time was. I don't know. I think he just retired because he thought he came back to the Wizards.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So.
He was so fat when he played for the Wizards.
Yeah, he was. He was big as hell.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's really.
All right. So are you ready for my rebuttal?
Yeah,
your points there. Well, I'm gonna say Charles Barkley, John Stockton, and Karl Malone. I know you mentioned Karl Malone. I don't know about the other 2. Although they were great players, definitely. I don't want to take away from that. They were great players. They didn't get rings when Jordan wasn't in the league either. So to say he beat them, yeah, of course it's great because they are great players. But at the same time, they couldn't get a ring or a championship while he wasn't there. So I don't know if he's the same caliber, especially because LeBron has played some of I'd say the Warriors is probably the greatest team we've ever seen. Especially because of their record.
Yeah,
I mean, they have the greatest record.
Last year in this.
But I'm just saying.
Well,
also, Clyde Drexler, while definitely another great player, not as talented as a lot of the guys LBJ had to face. He and when he faced Magic Johnson.
Wait, like who though? Who's better than Clyde Drexler in the current league that played LeBron?
Draymond, Kawhi, Andrew.
Draymond is not nearly as good.
He beat KD, Westbrook, Harden, OKC. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, he beat them rookie year for.
Still,
they were all young players, barely developed.
I have to disagree with your point about them never winning. They did not win when he wasn't in the league, but when they were playing the primes of their career, Karl Malone, John Stockton, Charles Barkley, all the people you named, they were drafted a few years apart, and their primes of their careers were when Jordan was winning.
Yeah, no.
After later on when
I'm agreeing with you. Like it was definitely great feats. I'm just saying not maybe as good or as difficult as the people LeBron have faced.
But the thing is, the team that won when LeBron was retired the first time was the Rockets, and they played with a team of Ralph Sampson, who is a really good big man. Before he was probably one of the best before he got injured, very young and ruined his career. Hakeem Olajuwon, obviously. Clyde Drexler then later got traded from the Trailblazers to the Rockets.
Well, it's funny that you bring up Hakeem's team because that was another one of my points. But before I get there, even he did beat Magic Johnson, which again, Magic Johnson, one of the greats. But it was in like his retiring year. He came. So
that's why.
I mean, he comes back in what 95, but it's just last year. I mean, I'm sure he was still trying his best, but that's not exactly prime Magic.
No, but the thing with Magic is he never really got out of his prime. He retired because of the AIDS. He was still like the most dominant point guard in the league.
He was a dirty boy.
But Hakeem's team, he never had to He retired during Hakeem's reign, really, like his big reign.
Yeah, exactly.
In the finals.
That's what.
That was only 2 years. That's being like.
But still, if he was there, I'm curious if he stayed in those 2 years. Not only would it have, even if he had beat Hakeem, I'm curious on whether he would have lost to Hakeem or if he beat him, if he'd win the other championships because he would have been tired or fatigued from playing more years. So, although those two retirements, whatever the real reason is, whether it was baseball or whatever, they definitely gave him a rest during his prime, and so now he's rested. He hasn't played for this many years, and he's rested, and now he gets to play all these guys who've been playing constantly.
I agree, but that's also but the argument about Magic Johnson, I didn't even mention Magic because that was really irrelevant.
No, I was just bringing it up.
But Hakeem was good when he played, and also. I mean, you make a good point because Hakeem we never really got to see that full Rockets.
It would have been interesting,
But the point you brought up about MJ's rest and stuff, he was playing baseball. He wasn't playing basketball. So you take off a year from a major profession. Basketball players, that's their profession. That's their trade. That's what they have to. They go to work every day, play basketball. They practice. That's their job. So you would take any of the players in the league and take a player out for 1 year. And I'd say any player who's playing in the league is going to be better than the player you've taken out because MJ wasn't playing every day like they were.
But that means you're assuming that. Yeah, you're assuming that though. I'm going to have to disagree with you, especially because of MJ's maybe not every day, but with MJ's mentality and already the skill he had, and then to get a year to rest.
But it wasn't really rest. Like, you can't call that's like being like...
Well, maybe the second retirement. The baseball retirement, I'll give you that. That's maybe a little less rest.
But, like, the baseball retirement, it's like being like, you're working a full-time job at, like, Walmart, and then you take a year off and go work at Target for a year, and then say you took a break.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. No, but you... Maybe I don't know, baseball training, especially at MLB, but there's definitely not as much... physical baseball is a lot more of a game of skill closer to golf than
I agree with your
basketball.
I agree with your point, but it probably did baseball. He was probably working out with the team. He was probably still in shape over that. He didn't just like stop working out. I agree with all that, and I think that's a valid point you bring up. But again, it's not really a rock solid point because again, I'm just saying I wonder if. So it's kind of a what if question, but still, it always. It's just interesting to think that maybe if he had those 2 years, he would have lost to Hakeem, or Hakeem would have tired him out, or whatever, and maybe it would have changed all of it. So I just wanted to bring
bring it to the forefront that he did have that time to, even if he wasn't necessarily literally not doing anything and resting, it was some sort of rest where he wasn't being thrown to the floor all the time by some big guy in the NBA.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I agree. I also I'm gonna lead into my next point here.
Yeah, of course.
I think that this controversial statement. I know I sound like an old head, but
Sorry.
I do feel like, because I went back and I watched some old games, because the NBA app you can watch old games, and I watched the games like the 80s, 90s, and I watched them play, and there's lots of things you could say to counter this, like the rule changes, or the pace of the game was just slower. But I think that I really do think that the defense back in the 90s especially was a lot better than today.
Okay,
and
so I'm actually going to use the rebuttal that you mentioned, the rule change. So actually, you probably know it, but just to mention it, something that you used to be able to do is, because you had to play, you couldn't really play a good zone, is you could literally stick 4 of your guys on one side and just let one guy 1v1 basically, which I think is not unfair, because of course the game has changed, but I'm just saying, people say that like, oh, you can't even compare them because it's such different eras, but each era has their own pros and cons that you have to realize, like, because people think if Jordan came into the current league, he'd crush everybody, but I don't think that's true at all. I think he'd still be a great player, but
I
people just overestimate how hard. Well, it was still a hard game. It's always going to be a hard game, but people overestimate and maybe have a nostalgic feeling towards older basketball, which I think actually mistakes a lot of the time in arguments like this about older players versus newer players.
But I think that the only reason I think Jordan would not be as dominant as he was today, he was back in when he played, is because of just the way the game has evolved, instead of the rule. Because there was a 3-point line in Jordan's time.
Yeah.
But the difference is
they were taking half of what we take this season. Yeah,
exactly. So I just don't. It's hard to compare the two, but
it's definitely very difficult.
I think that just from watching and like watching players play, I think that they played a lot harder, and they played. Like,
I will definitely concede that. Yeah, it was a definitely more physical game. I 100% agree with that.
Well, yeah, because there was this is just like a rule that was implanted, was nowadays there's no hand check in, but in the 90s hand checks was like everybody on defense would do.
It's definitely a lot rougher, but I'm not sure if that necessarily means it was harder. Because like you said, there's a lot more shooting and such in the current league, so I'm not sure if just by saying it's a more physical game automatically should negate the fact that LeBron could still be a great player, or a better player.
I think it does, because LeBron today, like, he has that stereotype or reputation almost of being a flopper actor. But I feel like if Michael Jordan was to come to the league today and play, he would probably get a lot of fouls because he would be playing hard and the way he used to. But I feel like if LeBron was to go back and play in that era, I feel like LeBron would not be able to be nearly as dominant as he is.
Really? You don't think someone who right now their main ability is to sprint into the paint and dunk or lay up over people couldn't go back to an era when you could 1v1 somebody basically on the court and send half your team to the other side, and you don't think he could get 1v1 around somebody and then finish at the rim? Yeah, you think he would be less effective at that? A non-shooter.
Because back when they played, Michael Jordan was double and triple teamed. It wasn't like it was a one-on-one every time. So
but that's like last second though.
No, it wasn't. They would have whole possessions where MJ was doubled or tripled.
A lot of their like game plans would be like, all right, we're gonna send 4 guys at Jordan here. Instead of like they're gonna be like, we're gonna have, if they did that like where they send 4 to the corner.
Yeah,
they would have one person guarding every possible passing lane and just send like 4 people.
Yeah, no, I know. It definitely makes openings, but
plus you make your point. You're in the argument.
So the other thing I was going to mention about LeBron coming back and playing in Jordan's time is, since I think that they play much more physically and LeBron doesn't take too well to the physicality. I'm not saying it would be useless back then, but he would I feel like not play as well being battered in the paint by like players like Charles Oakley and Hakeem. But I think also even just comparing LeBron's stats today and MJ's back then, MJ did not turn over the ball nearly as much as LeBron did. LeBron has
that is true.
177 turnovers, and
Well,
MJ
don't even look at that. It's like LeBron averages 3 point something, and MJ was 1.9, I think.
Which is also crazy because of the hand check rule. Because like a lot of players, you could just like put your hand like on their ribs and halt a move and just take the ball.
Yeah. So I just think that if LeBron went back, but I know we're not arguing about who would play better in what era, but
It's LeBron 3.5 to MJ's 2.7, which is a significant difference. Almost one whole turnover per game.
Mm-hmm. So
yeah, no, I'll definitely concede that he does have more turnovers. Yeah, but I'm not sure if he would literally not be able to thrive as well as he does in the current league back then.
Mm-hmm.
I think each of them, if you switch their eras, would have adapting to do, but I think both of them are great players and would adapt to it.
The thing was they wouldn't train to be Michael Jordan wouldn't train to be that ISO player that he is, and LeBron wouldn't train to be. He wouldn't just run down the court and dunk or kick out every play. He'd have to play a different brand of basketball just to be in the league.
No, I think both of them would just have to change their game slightly to work better in the league in the situation that they were handed. Like maybe Jordan would have to work on, instead of getting open mid-ranges or driving more, maybe try to get more open threes, and LeBron might have to learn to deal with physicality better. Mm-hmm. So that's just like a small example, but yeah. I think the fact that they are different leagues should be acknowledged, but it shouldn't all just ignore the rest of the facts just because of that.
Okay. So yeah, do you have a point you want to bring up? I've been doing a lot of the attacking here.
So I'd like to concede Jordan is 100% more accomplished, more defensive teams of the year, more MVPs, more championships. But I don't know if that means he's literally a better player, because like I said before, although we were disagreeing a little bit, I think LeBron has played harder teams. He's had to play Tim Duncan's Spurs, although maybe a little older Tim Duncan. He's had to play Draymond Green, Kawhi, Andrew Iguodala. He's had to play, and Raymond said, yeah, it was young KD, Westbrook, and Harden, but still, those are three great players. The amazing 3-1 comeback, just like crazy things like these, where if you look at the Cavs now, which is crazy to think about, it's crazy that LeBron took those Cavs and beat the greatest Warriors of all time.
I have to disagree, because he beat the greatest Warriors of all time with a healthy Kevin Love and Kyrie.
Well,
and the next year, they got swept by the same Cavs.
Yeah,
The same Warriors. They got swept by the same Warriors.
Well, yeah,
although LeBron, when he did get swept, scored just for one game, 51 points in the first game, which is the most ever in a loss. So, yes, the Warriors are a great team. That it's really hard for anybody to beat them. So, I mean, maybe that shouldn't be the example I use, but I just think it's impressive, even with Kyrie and Kevin Love, to beat the Warriors, especially off a 3-1 comeback.
The biggest thing with LeBron's crazy stats every game, LeBron's not a winner. He loses so much and so frequently. So he puts up these amazing numbers. For what, though? To say he got 50 points in a game? That doesn't help you get a win.
I think...
you say it he's never won a game before. He still has plenty of accolades.
I think
No,
I think that LeBron is definitely a great scorer in today's league, but I think that his high-scoring games are a little overrated. And just hear me out here.
Yeah.
Jordan played in a time where it was a much lower-scoring games. Having 100-point games were nearly you rarely saw that. Yeah, and he also played against, like I said, much more defensive teams with rules that allowed defenders to play much harder on him. And he was also triple and double teamed on a daily basis to play. And so, again, and he was able to put up, he averaged 30 points in his first career in the playoffs. Yeah. And that's against the best teams in the league. It wasn't, and so I think that, and he was putting up high scoring games.
He averaged 33, actually, 33.4.
Okay. So, yeah, he put up monstrous numbers against some of the best teams in the league when
Yeah.
they had all those rules implemented. And although I do respect LeBron's scoring against some of these great teams, like you said, the Warriors, the Thunder, the Spurs, who are a very defensive team.
Yeah, of course.
But I think that it's a little overrated compared to what MJ did against some of the toughest defending teams we've ever seen.
So averaging 33 points, of course, that's great. You can't take away from that. But if you're shooting worse percent, wouldn't you say, then it starts to affect it. So I have a couple stats here. I'm going to have to define one because I wasn't sure what it was. I don't know if you'll know it, but career field goals is close, .497 for MJ compared to LeBron's 504. So that's very close. 3-point, a little less useful because in Jordan's time 3-point wasn't as used, but it's 327 Jordan to 343, which is a semi-significant difference. And then the stat for 2-point percentage, which is obviously anything that is worth 2 points, so inside of the arc, is MJ .510 to LeBron's .547, which is a pretty significant difference. And then I have this one here, which here I have to read the definition. It's called an effective field goal percentage, which this statistic adjusts for the fact that a 3-point field goal is worth more than a 2-point. And again, I know it's not entirely fair because Jordan played in a different era, but as you would guess, LeBron's is better at .54 compared to Jordan's .509. Some more. Here's another great point. You haven't made it yet, but I'm just saying defensively. But a point to make against LeBron is he's had more seasons. Why does he have less points? Why hasn't he broken Jordan's scoring record? He's actually shot about 2,000 less shots than him. So he's shooting. Although he hasn't hit Jordan's ceiling, he's definitely on record for it. He's going at the right pace to hit it, and he's shooting slightly better percentages. So he might even get there. Hopefully soon, not sooner than Jordan, but hopefully soon. Just these are like you said. Now we're having 100-point games, so maybe this is affecting that a little bit. But career assists per game, 5.3 for MJ, 7.1 for LBJ. Career rebounds per game, 6.4 for MJ, 7.4 for LeBron. Career personal fouls, because you brought up turnovers, so this might kind of flip on it. Career personal fouls per game, MJ is 3, whereas LeBron is only 1.9. So that's almost the same as the turnover, so it almost kind of negates it maybe. So yeah.
Okay, so you bring up some real good points there, especially about the LeBron approaching MJ's stat line and MJ doing it in a shorter period of time though.
Yeah.
But I think that MJ overall, when it counted, was a better scorer than LeBron James. And just hear me out. In the finals,
okay,
which is probably, I would say, the most important series.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
The NBA. Michael Jordan had 5 final series where he averaged over 40 points a game. LeBron's never done that, and in fact, LeBron's had 2 playoff appearances. I think. 2. Let me check this.
I'm just gonna. The most important playoff round thing, I'm going to flip that. As much as I want to say, yes, that gives you the championship, but in today's NBA, the Western Conference eats the Eastern Conference.
Yeah,
so the most important round is probably that Rockets-Warriors round.
Yeah.
Whoever wins that wins the championship.
Okay.
That's a fair point, yeah. Mm-hmm. So we do have to keep that in mind.
But I'm going to bring it back to LeBron has 0, and in fact, he has 4 playoff series where he averaged less than 40% from the field. It was in 2007, I think, and 2015 where they were there. He shot less than 40% for the series.
For the series? Oh, what you mean in that 7-game span?
Whatever that series was. Yeah. So I also think Michael Jordan has 10 scoring titles. LeBron has 1.
Yep.
Which I get again. I mean, the league we play in today, you have players like Steph Curry, who's putting up almost 30 points a game every year, and lots of high scoring players. But that's still 10 years out of 17 years. Michael Jordan won the scoring title, and he played alongside players like Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter. This is towards the end of his career though. But Clyde Drexler was a great scorer.
Yeah.
There's lots of good scorers at the same position as him. And he was able to.
No, like I said, I'll agree that
Outscore
he is definitely a more accomplished and he has more accolades, but I'm not sure if those accolades actually mean he is literally a better player. Because like you said, it's harder to be the best scorer in a league when it's just a league like it is currently, and Steph Curry puts up better numbers than LeBron semi-consistently, but nobody would even think to say he's the best player of all time. So
because he's a one-sided player.
Exactly.
Like LeBron and MJ are two-sided players. They're defensive and they play offense. Although I think that Michael Jordan was, again, a better defender than LeBron because of his defensive. I'm not sure how many times he won it, but he won defensive player of the year.
I think
he
it's
had
10.
No. He had 9 defensive first team appearances.
Yeah.
And then
0 second team.
Yeah, it's 9 defensive.
But did he win?
Yeah.
He won defensive player of the year too, right?
Twice.
Yeah, twice.
Okay.
85.
So
yeah.
I'm not really gonna argue with the defensive team because that's like by position. So you got a point guard, shooting guard.
Yeah.
So that's not really an important because he was obviously gonna be the best defender in the league at that time for the shooting guard. But the fact that he was able to win 2 defensive player of the years as a shooting guard in a league where bigs really ran the league.
Yeah,
him. And he was able to get that award. The only other guard I think that era to win was Gary Payton, and he was
I think
one of the best.
Just like to put in like my
2 cents.
you said that LeBron is a better playoff player.
No, I didn't say that. I was
playoff
just
scorer,
disagreeing
right?
I was just disagreeing with Owen's statistic.
Oh well, either way, Michael Jordan.
No, Michael Jordan averages more points. They're just shooting. They're shooting. I'm pretty sure Michael Jordan's percentages are slightly higher, but it's very close.
Michael Jordan is the only player to ever average 40 points in a playoff series.
But like I said,
more than once.
like
He did it
I
5
said,
times.
5 times. That's right.
Like I said about their careers, Michael Jordan averaged more points overall. But if they're shooting
Michael Jordan
worse or similar percentages, what does that really mean?
But there was one playoff series where Michael Jordan averaged 45 points on 61% shooting, which is literally insane.
Yeah.
Right,
And again, that's 40, well
in his 85-86, he averaged 43.7 points per game.
That was a rookie year.
That's his rookie year.
Was his rookie year.
No, it's not. That's not his rookie year.
Yes,
his rookie year was 84-85. This is 85-86.
Okay, maybe.
Okay, either way, it's his sophomore year.
Yeah, no, it's still impressive. I'm just saying. And he shot from the field goal.
And let's just see. Do you know? No, you don't, probably. I'm going to look that up. 85.
Yeah, he shot .505%. With an average of 43.7.
Let's see who he was.
Yeah, that's
that year.
extremely impressive. But I'm not sure if one playoffs, one season's worth of playoffs, counts as making you the best player of all time. I'm not sure.
I know, but I'm not basing it off one series. I think I'm basing it off all, and that just adds to my argument.
Yeah, no, okay, that's.
In my personal opinion, I'm not gonna argue whether he's the best player of all time, but I think Michael Jordan is the best playoff player of all time.
Mm-hmm.
I could concede that he's a better playoff player than LeBron, but not by much.
I still can't.
Again, he averaged more points, but if they're shooting same or similar percentages, what does that really mean? Does that mean LeBron on average averages more assists? So does that literally mean LeBron is purposely scoring less? I don't know, but
no, I think you also have to think about the other side of the ball. Something that stats can't show us is the defense he was playing and the hustle. All these intangibles. LeBron, when I watched him play in the playoffs,
I will definitely give you Michael Jordan is a better defensive player. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily LeBron is a bad one, but Michael Jordan is a better one. Definitely, I can agree with that.
Do you have anything else you want to add to your argument? Because I don't know.
No, I think I made one of my points. LeBron's played fiercer enemies. He has better percentages and averages on things other than points. Of course, I will always concede that MJ is one of the greatest scorers of like the 80s, 90s era, and definitely he scored more than LeBron, that's for sure. But again, he shot more shots than LeBron, and he shot similar percentages. And yeah, those are.
I have one more point I want to bring up.
All right.
And it's just about how clutch each player is.
Okay.
And I think that in big games, again, we're going back to the playoffs.
Okay.
Which I feel bad doing, but I mean, it really is where it counts. I think that I know that MJ was a much clutcher player in the last few seconds of a game than LeBron. Because in the last 24 seconds, the last shot clock of the game, Jordan was 50%.
He gets the steal, and then he on his last game and then he retired after it. But in that game, he only had 15 points.
Not even that one game though. 9 times in his career in the playoffs on the last shot clock, he hit the game-winning or game-tying shot.
Yeah, that wasn't just for the playoffs. That was just like any game.
No, that was for the playoffs. 9 for 18.
Yeah, no, he's definitely.
LeBron did it 8 for 23. So we can see LeBron's taking the shot more, but that's also maybe because the games are closer. Because
I think MJ. I will agree with you. MJ is a more clutch player, but LeBron has made his fair share of plenty regular season and playoff game clutch shots. And again, I'm not sure if being a clutch player transfers to being
it's not necessarily a
better one. Yeah,
it's not really a stat we can look at and say.
Yeah, it's definitely a difficult stat to look at.
But I think
I think one of the most important things about LeBron's legacy is not only is he doing this good for this long, because his prime has been ridiculously long, and it's still going. LeBron still has 4 or 5 more years if he doesn't get injured. So we could. I'm wondering. My question to you is: if in 4 or 5 years LeBron is still doing the same stuff that he's been doing for the last 10, would you concede that he is better than Michael Jordan?
So you're asking if he hasn't digressed at all?
He hasn't digressed, and maybe he's gotten a little better, but not too much better.
So
he's still
tell me when
basically at the same spot.
So when he's a free agent and whenever it is, he's
in
still going to be a
2020
max player. You're asking me if he's still going to be a max player?
No. I'm not asking you if in your opinion by that time he'll still be good. I'm saying if he had done that, if he had held his prime for that long, in your mind, do you think that means he is better than MJ at that point?
I think
after 4 more years of an extended prime, and then he's almost an old man at that point in NBA standards.
You gotta understand, like LeBron's only been yes, he had a long prime.
Well, he's still in his prime.
Yeah, but he's 15 years in the league. Like that's in the 90s, that's a lot. But in the 90s, there was a lot more wear and tear on your body. Yeah, there was less. They knew less about muscle tearing, and there was more physical play.
Well, let me answer your question first. Yeah. I think that if LeBron was able to do that at this rate, I think in 4 or 5 years, where would he be all-time scoring? Do you know? Or
all times. He'd
second or third.
Yeah, he'd be above MJ.
Yeah. So
isn't he already above?
No.
I think that's playoff.
MJ is 3rd, 4th.
I'm not sure.
Anyway, I have it. MJ is number 4th at 32. Yeah, he's 1,000 points away from 1,000.
So that's end of next season.
He'll be above MJ at
I least. To look at the stats because I have to look at what he's done. If he went to the playoffs any more times, so I'm going to assume he does. And what he does there.
Okay, here I'll give it almost worst case scenario. Okay. He goes to the finals for the next 4 years, and he gets 1 championship out of that against current Warriors.
But how's he going to do that? He's on the Lakers.
Oh yeah.
I'm just confused. How is he going to get out of the playoffs?
Oh, because he's in the West.
And
now.
I know that's like it's the Warriors.
Well, all right. So then we'll just say he hits the finals the next 4 years. He gets at minimum 1 championship, and he's averaging the same stuff that he's been averaging. Would that cement him as and he still may have 1 or 2 years even after that? Would that cement him as better than MJ I
think
least.
He would get the label of the most dominant player of all time.
Dominant.
But I can't give him the greatest of all time because when I think of a great player, I want someone who's going to be the face of my franchise and is going to take me and win and give us the reputation like the Lakers have. The Lakers have a reputation. The face of the Lakers, they have multiple faces because there was multiple players who won. There was Magic Johnson, who was dominant. Yeah. There was Kobe. They got Kareem, Kobe, Shaq, all these iconic players who were dominant. Same thing with the Celtics.
But Shaq wasn't there for his entire career.
No, I'm saying the greatest players of all time. Shaq's one of the greatest players of all time.
So what I'm saying, if he gets at least 1 championship, he's making it to the finals 4 times, and it's with the same team. It'd be with the Lakers. How could you say that he's not the greatest because he didn't put a face to his team? He's put a face to Cleveland at the least.
No, I'm not saying he's putting a face to it. I'm just saying when I think about the greatest player of all time, as if I was a GM and I want to go out and get the greatest player of all time, I'm going to take Michael Jordan because of what he does in the playoffs, not because of what he does in the regular season or the stats he puts up, but what he does in the playoffs. And I know that's a kind of a cop out almost, saying like, oh well, he's better in the playoffs. But I just like when the Lakers went and got Shaq, he was I'm assuming the GM at the time was thinking to himself, let's go get Shaq because I see what he does with Orlando. He's gotten to the playoffs and he was dominant there. Let's see if we put him with Kobe Bryant, our young player, what he could do.
Yeah, what he could do.
So I just think...
But it's not like LeBron's doing bad in the playoffs now. He's doing close to MJ caliber. Maybe not scoring as many points, but his percentages, his other averages other than points. Because like I said, MJ has definitely beat him for averaging points. He's a great scorer. Mm-hmm. But LeBron even says it himself. He's not his main skill is not scoring. He said that multiple times. He's not a scorer. So to say that simply because MJ has higher average points per game in the playoffs makes him a better playoff player. Even if you were to include your clutch statement, which is a fair point, I still don't think that necessarily means that LeBron is by no means a poor or even average playoff player. He is definitely up there near MJ.
I think he is. It's just a matter of really at this point, I'm not looking at stats anymore. I'm doing the eye test and looking and seeing what's going on. Which again,
that's fair. That's fair.
I really can't get too deep into stats because if I'm watching, there's players who can put up amazing stat lines, but just aren't efficient players or aren't winning players. Exactly.
Of course.
If you look at the way he shoots the ball, if you watch their games, again, it's might be Billy Donovan's fault.
He's stealing rebounds and
he's
stuff.
He's stealing rebounds and he's shooting threes.
But I mean, let's be honest. We know we've watched LeBron. He's not really doing that.
But I see games sometimes where LeBron just. He does take over. I'll be fair. The last 2 years I've been watching him, I've been really impressed seeing because before really 2 years ago, I watched basketball not nearly as much as I do now, and I just don't remember him being dominant. But then after that 3-1 bleed that they came back from and won,
of course.
That was really amazing to me. I think he's an amazing player, but I just can't see him as on the same level of Michael Jordan in the playoffs just because he really I don't see him carrying a team through the finals. Again, listen, you see
the Cleveland team he just brought to the finals?
But that was in the Eastern Conference.
But still look at them. The second he was gone, they fell apart immediately.
It was a situation
even in the Eastern Conference.
But you had the right pieces around him. It wasn't a matter of having good players.
It's not like but the pieces he had around him, he pick and chose who he got to put around him.
Yeah, but I'm not going to take that. But it's just the pieces that he had just complemented him perfectly, but on their own, they're not good pieces for a winning team. Shooters. He passed out to J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith's not a good player, but he hits a shot.
Oh, he's a decent player.
He's decent, but I mean, he hits his shot. That's Rodney Hood hit it. He didn't really hit his shot, but he hit some of them. Jordan Clarkson was hitting threes when they started last year when they were really struggling. And they traded that big trade with the Lakers to get Larry Nance. And Jordan Clarkson came in and they started to look like a really good basketball team because he was running point guard. He was playing his position. Yeah. But then towards the end of the season, especially in the playoffs, he became more of a spot up shooter for LeBron. LeBron was taking the ball and I would watch every play. He would go to the hole, he would get doubled, and he would pass out to his shooter, which to be fair worked. He got to the finals. Yeah. But it's just when I watched Michael Jordan play, he's usually, even if he has the open basket, he usually would take it, but he found people and would set up plays for other people. Where LeBron is more of a drive.
Okay, here's actually another point that I had. Then now that you bring that up, is MJ had a way better coach. Phil Jackson is a way better coach. Look, he says the triangle. One of the greatest coaches of all time. Would you agree with that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And now let's look at LeBron's coaches. Average at best.
No, I think Eric Spoelstra is a great coach. Look what he's doing with the Heat team. The Heat team. Can you name me one person on the Heat who you think is like an all-star level player? You can't.
I don't know.
But
Heat
Eric.
roster.
Hassan Whiteside. But he's kind of.
But he's like such a one-sided player.
Yeah. But no, I think that Eric Spoelstra is a great coach. Not nearly as good as what's his name? Phil Jackson. Yeah. But Tyronn Lue's a bad coach. I agree with that. Yeah. But I think that you're not giving Eric Spoelstra enough credit. I think he's a really good coach.
No,
he wasn't the coach of the Heat in 06, 05, 05,
I don't
06,
know,
right?
but Eric Spoelstra isn't as good as Phil Jackson.
Oh no, I'm not saying he is.
I'm not saying that's the end
No, I
all.
know.
But if you're gonna make, I'm just saying that because you were making the argument that he maybe passes out or whatever.
Phil Jackson.
But it's just because Phil Jackson made one of the most effective systems to. So it's like saying it's like having Steve Kerr as a coach.
I know, but he did
one of the greatest coaches of all time. It's
not
really
necessarily.
hard to,
he just has his shooters. But that's an argument for a different.
Yeah,
time.
yeah, all right, that's fair enough.
But I think that Phil Jackson, he was such a good coach because he put his players into a system that fit them. Whereas like Tyronn Lue didn't do that, but Eric Spoelstra did, and that's why they won. I think that I hate to be like this, but I think he's a really good coach. He brought the Heat
I don't think
he's last year.
I think Tyronn Lue is a bad coach. I don't think he is a bad coach. I think he's just an average coach. Which is like I said, it's not it's not if LeBron had the worst coach and MJ had the best coach, it's not MJ or LeBron's fault, and it doesn't necessarily mean one is better just because he had a bad coach or whatever.
Oh yeah.
But I'm just saying, if you're gonna make the point that because the way MJ ran his offense, that Phil Jackson set up for him in the best way ever.
Yeah.
Because he's a great coach.
Oh yeah.
Then I'm just gonna have to counter by saying that. I'm not necessarily saying you're wrong or whatever.
I don't think that who's the Cavs coach, whatever his name is,
Tyronn Lue. Well, you started.
Is that bad of a coach?
Yeah, no, he definitely is. If you watch the footage after LeBron left for this season, everybody on the team, they're not properly switching through screens.
But you have to understand,
and the way they're set up on defense and offense is just not effective.
But like
systems.
the way you have it, when you have LeBron on your team, everything you have runs through LeBron because he's your superstar.
On defense, somebody sets a screen that's completely away from LeBron and his defender. Then I think you still have to know how to go around the screen and hedge a screen.
Like, it's just easier to like have that IQ when you have that player that just like keeps people in check like on the court.
Yeah, no, but I don't even think you would argue Tyronn Lue is a good coach.
No, I'm not saying he's a good coach, but I'm not saying he's you can't be a bad coach and win a championship.
Oh yeah, I think that's valid. No, I think that's valid.
You can be a decent coach, like a below.
I think
subpar, but you're not bad.
I think he is below average, but I maybe not the worst coach in all NBA history. There are definitely way worse coaches. There are plenty of horrible NBA teams throughout time, even in the current league. But Tyronn Lue is definitely a below average coach. Mm-hmm. Is that fair?
That's fair, okay. But I just. Yeah, that's a fair point. I can't argue that.
Closing statements?
I think, I just think, based on facts of stats, like Nick likes to use over here,
I do.
I think that Michael Jordan was a better playoff scorer. LeBron James definitely has a beat for regular season scoring, I think. But I think there's one more factor we have to take into account, which, again, many Michael Jordan arguers use, but I think that his two retirements really put a wrench into his career.
But the thing,
what do you mean? Wait. What do you mean by that?
I think that he took out those years he took to play baseball were some of the prime of his career.
Yeah.
And
you think they negatively impacted him?
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's interesting because I think the opposite. That's actually.
You think they helped him?
Like I said, they give him a break because, especially like you were saying, it's such a physical league at that point. He is. I mean, again, baseball, I'm sure there's plenty of running and practicing that you have to do, but not being slammed to the wood a bunch of times, I'm sure definitely helped him, especially after he had already had one injury.
Can I just take it back to where he said that LeBron was a better playoff scorer? Or
no, he said regular season, which I disagree with, actually.
But what you look at it
right
now...
averages for... He has better shooting percentages, but his average
look
points...
At it, it's as simple as this. Michael Jordan had a 15-year career, right?
Yeah.
This is LeBron's 15th career.
No, 16. This is 16 year.
2003.
This is
16 season, right?
16.
Last year was 15. Last year it was 15.
I know I looked it up.
But 2003, 2004 to 2018.
Raymond, I'm telling you, I promise you.
Oh wait, no, I figured it out.
I didn't think about that. That's right. His career is so was.
And he's still 1,000 points behind Michael.
No, he shot 2,000 less points though, or 2,000 less shots.
That doesn't
But that just means he's shooting.
That
less,
just means
though.
he's
No,
less,
yeah,
but
well,
that's
he
not-
also averages more assists. So
But it's
what?
not like-
And
But
you're
don't
missing the
look at all
point.
that. The point
LeBron's
I
not
made-
a scorer, so you can't. He
That-
shot less points. If he had shot
that's
more
not the point
shots
I'm
and he had
making.
lower points, then your statement would be fair.
No, I'm not making a statement. I'm just saying what Owen said was wrong. Michael Jordan's a better,
it was-
or not, maybe not a more consistent scorer, but he scores more.
Yeah, no, because he is a scorer. Like I said, LeBron has admitted on live television he is not a
Yeah,
scorer.
but
That is
LeBron's
not-
also admitted on live television he's the best player of all time, and then shot 13 for 33 in a playoff game. I'm just saying. Listen.
MJ's last game, he scored 15 points and then just walked and was never heard from again.
Yeah,
okay?
but still-
So I mean,
Okay,
MJ has shot. He has had poor games too.
all right. I don't know if I should say this because this is kind
Let's
of a
say
really
it, just say it.
stupid point, but we don't necessarily know if it's true. But MJ was not a healthy man. You see LeBron. LeBron is working out you see on his Instagram stories, he's working out with some new music. Over the off season, he's working out with the team. He's a family man. He has a good life. He has a nice wife. He does a lot for the community. Michael Jordan, after the game, before games, was drinking and gambling.
Okay, but you can't hold that against LeBron.
I know I can't hold that against LeBron, but I'm just saying Michael Jordan was doing what he was doing while drinking, gambling, smoking.
Yeah, like
Well, maybe he was a poor shot sober.
No, listen.
like Babe
I know,
Ruth.
yeah, that's true. But Michael Jordan, I'm just saying, because Coach Aristock mentioned this the other day. They did a test on like Olympic goalies to test reaction time.
Where if you
at
drink
one
6
night.
beers in a night, your reaction time is not the same for 10 days if you're an Olympic athlete. So for us, it'd probably be like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
No, I know, but it just, I don't know. That's like a really like low blow almost. But I just think that's. It's just something to think about when you think about.
I think that's interesting. I'm not sure how
It's not really
how much that really affects.
No, I know, but I think it just. I don't know. It's just a little point I wanted to bring up because this is
that-
interesting, just to see like
no,
the
that's
two,
interesting.
the greatest of all times. They're like two considered to be the greatest of all time. How their lifestyles are so different.
Well, I mean, although MJ may have been doing that, he still trained his ass off.
Oh no, I know. I'm not saying he was like just blowing off. Actually, I don't know if he was blowing off practice. He might have.
He might have, yeah.
But there's accounts of him before playoff games, like out drinking and partying, and even like one of the theories for his first retirement was David Stern made a deal with him that like he wouldn't investigate something about like his gambling or something. It was a really weird scandal. I watched a Mike Korzemba video on it, but I don't know. I mean, I think we really touched on everything.
Yeah, all right.
I think
so. So official closing statements now, because those closing statements brought us into more.
Right. So I just, all in all, I think that Michael Jordan is the greatest player of all time, in my opinion, and I think that really the proof is in the podcast. So
In the podcast.
instead of the pudding. So
Okay.
I think.
Well, obviously, I believe the opposite, and I'm gonna also default to it's in the podcast.
So I don't know. Let us know.
I don't know. I think
Send us an email.
yes.
I mean, yeah, Ramon, do you have anything?
Any closing statements?
Kobe's the best of all time.
Yeah, Ray thinks Kobe.
Yeah. So then next week. We'll
Okay.
be doing,
Wait.
But but there's no like winner of this. Like neither of you changed your mind.
Oh yeah.
And like I from me like watching this, it's like they're better at different things, so neither of them are the best of all time.
Which I feel like is a really cliche ending, but
Well, we're just arguing who's better technically. Right
Yeah.
now.
Because
the best of all time, it gets there's so many people to pick from. It's hard, and then you really have to talk about different eras of play. That's where it gets real crazy.
Because you got like Bill Russell. With But to be fair,
and
everyone
Chamberlain
says that the short, like they were mad short, like they were like 5'10" or whatever. But the average player height was 6'4". So they weren't that short. Today it's 6'7". So
I know, but the game was different. I wasn't talking about the actual height of the players.
Okay, I know that's okay, whatever. Do you have any predictions for what your favorite team's gonna do this year?
See, all right. So the problem with that is I started watching basketball probably about 2-3 years ago, and see, it was too late to pick a team because all the teams that are good now just started to become on the rise. So like Sixers, Rockets, OKC. Like
I called Sixers.
Oh yeah, Owen's always been a Sixers fan. I'll admit to that. I could vouch for that. But like when I first started watching basketball a few years ago, everybody was on the rise. So whoever I picked was either a bad team or I'd be bandwagoning because they were already good or about to be good. So I don't really have a particular favorite team. I just enjoy watching whatever game. But currently, I'd say my team is Lakers just because I enjoy watching LeBron the most. Although I know if somebody's gonna call me a faggot for that, but I don't really care. So my predictions for the Lakers this year, I think they're making the playoffs for sure. They're not even. I don't even know if they'll get to the finals. To be honest, I don't think they will. I think next year they might get to the finals. Fingers crossed, of course. But just from the beginning of how this season is looking, they're not doing the best. And the West is an extremely good conference. It's just there's so many good contenders against them. And, of course, one of the greatest teams of all time, the Warriors, the current Warriors are here in the West. So now not only am I watching to see LeBron prove himself, but I'm also interested to see how Lakers as a whole incorporate LeBron and how they do. So, Owen, how do you think the Sixers are going to do this year?
Okay. Well, no, I'm a Sixers fan. It might impact the way I think about this, but I really think that if we can make some smart signings at the buyout season starts and also make some moves to get some shooters, and honestly, this might be unpopular with Sixers fans, but I wouldn't mind moving Markelle Fultz to try to get a shooter.
Okay.
So I think that if we can,
that before the draft.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, we shouldn't have traded that pick with the Celtics.
I think the best player in that draft is
Jason Tatum, probably.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, so I think that the Sixers, if they can do all that, like I just said, and get some shooters to surround Simmons and Embiid.
Joel Embiid, yeah.
I think that
Jimmy Butler now.
Well, yeah, but he can shoot.
I'm not worried about him. No, yeah.
I'm more worried about Embiid taking those top of the key threes that he likes to take.
Oh yeah.
But I think that I think we can make the finals this year. I think that it's a bold prediction.
That is a bold prediction, even in the East.
I wouldn't.
You got the Celtics.
No, I know
the Raptors to contest too. Those are probably the two biggest ones.
And I wouldn't put money on it, but I'd say that they would.
Right.
I think that's my bold prediction. As a fan too, I want them to obviously win, but I don't think they could beat the Warriors if they were to make it to the finals. Maybe you know what?
I feel like very few teams in the league today. If today they were playoffs start right now, I think there are very few teams who could beat the Warriors.
Yeah, I don't think there's any team in the league that can beat them in a 7-game series.
Oh, yeah,
I think the Rockets.
No, I think
if they fix their game plan, the Rockets could.
But you got you're still looking at the Warriors are 11-2 right now, without their all-star.
Yeah, and Curry just got hurt. Draymond Green is has a hurt big toe or something.
Whatever.
Yeah, Curry just got his groin strained, I think.
Yeah, and fucking DeMarcus is still recovering from that.
Yeah, and DeMarcus is still covered. But yeah. Ramon, do you have any Lakers predictions since now we're Lakers boys?
I think that they're either gonna lose in the second or third round of the playoffs.
Yeah, I think that's fair. That's what I was thinking. And just so you know, Raymond is a loyal Lakers fan. He's been a fan since he was a young man, so
back in those rough times when
their
starting lineup was like a bunch of white Europeans
and Kobe.
And Kobe,
yeah. Yo, that I can't even use that because that's gonna be my Kobe.
All right, so I think that's gonna wrap it up here.
Yeah, so 2K fellas.
Yeah.
All right.
So comment who you think is the greatest player of all time, keeping in mind our argument here, not just your own thoughts. And I think the next episode.
No, don't consider who's the greatest of all time.
Just the better.
The better of the two. Yeah, and I think next time, Ramon is going to argue Kobe versus either me or Owen, respectively MJ and LBJ.
Or both.
Or both. Honestly, we could go 3 ways with it if we really wanted to.
Another thing you should probably look forward to in the future is all-time starting 5.
Big facts.
We got lots of stuff planned.
Be
We got
interesting.
all-time starting
Once my
five.
PlayStation works again, maybe we could start doing some
Run
mileage.
simulation.
Yeah, run some simulations. See what
Lots
happens.
of fun stuff planned for the future.
Yeah,
But
we got hopefully a music video coming up. Me and Billy got to make
okay,
it for film class. So
basketball wise, lots of exciting stuff going on. It's been a solid hour talking to everyone, so I think we'll end it here.
all right, peace out, boys.